actually.
Hello and welcome to Just the Facts, where we ask Toby to answer a frequently asked question. Today's question for Toby is this. Forrest tells us that we need the book, the poem, and a good map. What do you do for your good maps?
I start with something called GMAP4. And GMAP4 is a tool that's available to everyone online. I've put the URL beneath the image here to get to it. It is more effective as a mapping tool than, say, Google Earth or Google Maps. It has a lot of layers. It has a lot of resolution. It has a lot of additional tools that you're going to find helpful to you if you're doing things like measurements or if you're trying to follow a track. In addition to that, you can download the maps onto your phone. So if you want to use your phone as a GPS receiver, you'll have a map on board to be able to use it as a GPS receiver. The challenge with a cellular service is that if you're outside cellular service and you don't have the maps loaded onto your phone, you won't be able to use it as a GPS receiver. So this is a good way to do that. It's very helpful. We also have a YouTube, and I'll put a card up above us. We have a YouTube video on how to use GMAP4. I didn't think it was that good, but I've noticed that GMAP4 now uses it on their website as a tutorial, so it can't be that bad. So once I've done my initial research on from the comfort of my desk on GMAP4, my next stop is usually the BLM office between Albuquerque and Santa Fe. And what I expect to get there is something that's called the Surface Management Responsibility Map. And there's one of these maps for every one of the states in the treasure, the treasure states, New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. This is very low resolution. It's a ratio or scale of 1 to 1 million, which means that 1 inch is equal to about 16 miles on this map. But it's very helpful in that it has the details of all the surface responsibility, who owns the land that you're looking at in terms of your search. And there are, as you can see down here in this legend, there are literally, in this case, a dozen, maybe 16 different potential owners, or I shouldn't say owners, people who are responsible for that property, including owners. And it includes all the tribal lands, all the private lands, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a very handy map. It's very easy to carry around with you. And if you know how to use your GPS receiver, you can tell exactly where you are on this map. From there, I go to one that's just a little bit more resolution. This one is called the Surface Management Status Map. Now, there was a point in time where the BLM stopped publishing in imperial measurement and went to metric measurement. So sometimes you'll find the Surface Management Responsibility Map, because they don't change that often, in the old imperial measurement system, while the new Surface Management Status Maps, which are a great deal more resolute, this one is 1 to 100,000 in scale. That means 1 centimeter equals 1 kilometer on this map. This, as you can see, is entitled Chama, and it represents that region right there, that highlighted orange region on the New Mexico map, so it has even more detail. I'm going to try to open this without making a lot of noise to give you an idea of the detail that you'll have on this map. I'll just open it a little bit. But you'll see the various areas. The green is generally Forest Service or National Park Service. The orange is tribal lands. The blue are state lands, and the white is effectively private property. It's going to be land grant lands. Now, it may be broken down even further, but that's what it represents, private property. There's a very good chance that you won't find the treasure on either private property or tribal lands. But again, if you know how to use your GPS system, you can roughly estimate your location on this map without a GPS. But if you know how to use a GPS system, you can locate yourself precisely. And part of our solution requires that we know exactly where we are in terms of the relationship of these various surface responsibilities. And then from there, if I need more detail and if I want to have a map that I can rely upon while we're traversing ground, while we're actually in the recon, I go to the Nat Geo Map Quads. And this is also a free service. You don't have to pay for these, even though they're owned by National Geographic. You can get them. Each quad is broken down into 5 more resolved pages. This one is 1 to 7,500. And gives you that topographic detail that you need to traverse the land that you're doing the search on. You can download them and print them on your printer. I bought some paper at REI Co-op. I buy some paper because I go through it a lot. At REI Co-op that's made for maps, and it's both weather resistant and it's tear resistant as well. So once you print out one of your maps on here, it'll have a really long life. So that's what I do. Start with online with GMAP 4, then go from there to the BLM office and buy the large surface responsibility map, then go to the more resolved surface status map, and then go to Nat GeoQuad and download those high resolution maps for the time you're actually boots on the ground. So that's what we do.
Okay. Thank you for watching today. Be sure to like this with a thumbs up on our video and share it with your social media contacts. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do click on the subscribe button, then click on the bell to receive notifications. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll be back again next week for more of Just the Facts.